looks like the BBC are now planning to make life even more difficult for their once core audience, that of the over 50s, by threatening to take away the channels and the products that they love the most. But what's the true story behind this particular story? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. As you know, the BBC is incredibly woke, but they've recently found that a lot of people are now refusing to pay their TV licence because they feel that the inflated salaries of alleged BBC stars, particularly people like Gary Lineker on over £1 million a year, and the average salary of around about £250,000 to £350,000 a year for presenters is simply too much in this cost of living crisis. And of course, moving forward, the BBC recently gave their staff a percentage pay rise, all the while telling us that we had to pay for that luxury. Now the BBC have come out fighting because they recently had a general meeting, and they've decided that in order to save money, the best way to do this is to simply close these particular brands down. And they include BBC4, which is aimed at the over 50s and shows documentaries, music power and that sort of stuff, things that really appeal to the more conservative and cultured viewer. Not only that, they're also planning to close down the children's side of the BBC, the children's channel, CBBC. And on top of that, another over 50s favourite, BBC Radio 4 Extra, which of course broadcasts old radio programmes, comedy, and of course things like documentaries that you haven't heard for years on the BBC. So why have they decided to do this? Well, it's quite simple. The BBC have decided that they really don't care about the over 50s, the people that can actually afford at times to pay for their services. They believe that if they focus on the younger generation by of course pushing their iPlayer, which is their version of their streaming service, then the young people will come on board. Now let's not forget that the BBC recently wasted over 80 million revamping the very little watched EastEnders soap opera set. That's right, 80 million. They also spent another 80 million relaunching BBC Three online and back on television. This again is aimed at the under 25s. The BBC truly believes that their audience is a brand new, if you like, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu type audience that will simply pay to tune in eventually over the next generations. So by threatening to close down the likes of BBC4, CBBC and Radio 4 Extra, amongst other regional new programmes too, then of course this will force the over 50s to rethink and possibly snap open their purses and decide that once and for all the BBC is simply great value for money. However, the backlash has started already, with many saying fine, close it down. We haven't watched the BBC in years. Many people over here in the United Kingdom, and I'm sure around the world, find their news coverage far too woke and far too cancel culture for their appetites moving forward in 2022. So their big plan, seemingly as ever, has backfired. Will this result though in a blank screen for the BBC moving forward? As ever, I'd love to know what you think to this particular story in the comments below. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.